Okay, welcome to my webinar. I'm very excited to present this to you all today. Basically, this has come about from being involved in a number of Facebook groups and seeing the absolute confusion from the questions and people in them. So I wanted to provide as much information as I can about Feng Shui and how we actually go about using it in our day-to-day. And what it is we need to do to actually implement, because there's different styles of feng shui and different ways we can do it. So this is literally about trying to find the easiest way for you and removing any confusion. So what the FCUK is feng shui. So I do apologize for the profanity. However, this is the question I'm asked most often with a look of absolute confusion. So first, my name is Suzanne. I am a certified classical flying stars feng shui consultant. I'm a dog mum. I'm a margarita lover. I'm obsessed with country music, travel, learning, self-development, and also transforming lives. I have been using feng shui in my own life for close to 10 years, and I have been a consultant now for 3. So I completed my certification a few years ago, and I have been helping women transform their lives ever since. I find it to be quite a magical modality, and the changes that it brings to your life are quite incredible. I've seen in my own life some ridiculous transformations, going from living in a home with a partner that was incredibly toxic and having no money to probably bringing in, I would say, close to $500,000 without trying for it. So it's just literally appeared in different ways, shapes and forms. So not from a salary, not from working with people, but from other means. So it has a way of transforming in ways that you might not expect, or we have actually really no idea what it's going to do for you. We just need to apply and get moving with it, and transformation will happen. Okay. So why feng shui? Well, feng shui can be life-altering if it is done correctly. Having an understanding of what it is you are doing and why is paramount to success. And why is everything always confusing? Well, basically because there's many different schools of feng shui. If you don't have an understanding of the basics or the basic fundamentals of feng shui, it will be confusing. If you're asking questions, you're possibly not asking the right questions, or you're not providing enough information. So we can't give you answers to just a generic question, because the answer will always be, it depends. It depends on so many different factors. It depends on, which I'll go into in a minute, but it will depend really on what school of feng shui you actually want to follow to start with. So what are the flying star school, or the feng shui schools? You've got classical flying stars, which is what I practice. You've got compass school, which we use in conjunction with flying stars. You've got 8 mansions or batsai feng shui. We've got form school. We've got black Tibetan or black hat feng shui, and we've got modern feng shui. And then compound that with the batsa or 4 pillars of destiny readings. That's why it gets confusing. So at the absolute initial, you must know which form you want to be following. And then when you ask questions, state that in your questions. Okay, so what are the differences? We've got modern or black hat. So this is the most common one you will have heard of, and probably where a lot of the questions come from. So these styles are associated with the space in your actual home. So whether it's your office, your bedroom, your kitchen, that sort of thing, you can remedy particular spaces and parts of your life, offices and bedrooms. It's not concerned with the compass. So the Bagua map is placed with the front door as north. Now, this could be whether the front door is actually facing northwest. It won't matter. They will take the north as your front door. You may be told to add in good luck cures based on, I guess what I would like to preface everything with is if you're wanting this to work, doesn't matter what school of feng shui you want to use, please don't try and DIY. Don't try and Google. Please get in a consultant for whatever school that you're wishing to apply with, because if you don't, you'll start adding stuff everywhere and your home will start looking like a shrine. I don't want that for anybody, because that's not what feng shui is about. Feng shui is about flow, balance, and bringing joy and abundance to your life, and not putting things in place that you possibly don't need. Okay. Other schools are based on physicality. So either compass directions, years of construction, annual and permanent energies. And we also take into consideration the landform around the property as well. And this is where the confusion starts. How do I get started? The first thing is to have an idea, as I've said, of what school you wish to follow. If you are DIYing, then you may have greater success with modern or BTB, given its focus on setting up particular spaces. This will take time to get an understanding of what is needed, though. If you're wanting specific things from your life addressed, then specifics of Flying Star, Compass, or Form School may be what you require. When you ask questions in a group, please specify which style you're following to lessen the confusion in the answers. So why do I work with Flying Stars? So I personally only worked with Flying Stars in my life to date. So I do have an intimate knowledge of its benefits from my own experience. What we can do with Flying Stars is I can identify areas of your home that energetically may be a mismatch for something you're trying to achieve and remedy it accordingly. So this information can be very specific and very important if you're trying to make a life change. So if you're having fertility concerns or you're trying to conceive a child, there might be areas of your home that are indicative of issues for women, which then in turn can make conception difficult. I will be able to tell that from looking at the numbers in the home and be able to advise accordingly. It might mean that we do move you into a different bedroom. It might mean we add a few different bits and pieces in, or we choose a different remedy. This is all very specific to what you're looking to do. That said, we do tend to use some things from modern or black hat feng shui as well, because they don't hurt, they can work. But I won't be adding in, you know, a lot of deities and that sort of thing. It's just not something that I use. If you walk into my home, you will not know it's actually feng shuied. Okay, so let's go through the absolute basics of feng shui. Okay, the bagua elements and the gua. Your gua numbers. Okay, so you will have all seen the Bagua map and what it represents. When you're looking at modern or BTB, the north will be the front door. So north will always be your front door area, will always be your career or life journey area. Same for the south will be fame and reputation. That's it. These will be the areas they will be consistent. They will not change. And I've made a mistake there. That should be 5. I don't know what I've done there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. I've got those two around the wrong way. Apologies for that. Actually, I've got a few of them around the wrong way. So these are where the numbers normally, where it comes to flying stars, we use these numbers. So this positions are the I've really stuffed that up. I'm so sorry. I didn't check. So the center, the normal area for the center is a number 5. The 5 is the most negative number. We call that the disaster star. So a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, this is where the 5 was. So it had an overall bearing on everyone's life. It was very hard. Things were just hard for everyone 2 years ago, more so than even through COVID. But they fly every year. So this year, the 3 is in the center. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. So this is how we work it out. It is in a sequence. When we come to flying stars, we literally place this over the home, but in the direction that it actually sits. So for example, my front door is west. So I would place this over my floor plan with west at my front door because that's where west actually is. All right, the elemental cycles. Let's have a chat about these because I saw a post in a group before about someone adding a water feature, but then they also had wood in the area. So we have 3 cycles. We have the destructive, we have the productive, and we have the weakening. So when we want to reduce something, we will either use the destructive or the weakening. And this will depend on the numbers that are in the actual home. As you can see here, it's quite simple. So water will put out fire. Fire will melt metal. Metal cuts down trees, and trees will disturb earth. Earth will dam water. When it comes to weakening, trees obviously need water to survive. So when they take water, that weakens the water. Water creates rust on metal, so that weakens the metal. Metal comes from earth, so it disturbs earth, so it weakens it. Earth can extinguish fire, so that's why it weakens it. And fire burns down wood, which is why it weakens it. But then you have the productive, which is basically the opposite of that. So water keeps trees alive. Trees keep fire burning. Fire turns into ash, which is earth. Earth is where metal comes from. And then metal creates water by way of dew. So we have to be very conscious about not just the remedy that we place, but what the other elements in that space might be doing to it. So if you, for example, were told, so everyone this year has metal in the west because the 5 is in the west this year. You would make sure that there was no fire element in that area. So anything red you would remove from the west of your home because fire melts metal, which makes it less effective. So I hope that sort of gives you some indication of how important the elements are. It's not just about putting a trinket in. We have to look at the overall home as a balanced object. And then we have the Kwa, also known as your trigram. So it identifies your best positions for wealth, work, love, and recreation. It can also indicate your personality traits and what type of work you would be suited to. So these directions are not the be all and end all. If you can use them, great. If not, there's nothing you can do. The world is not going to end. And this is something I really want you to take to heart. There is no perfection. Unless we are building a brand new home, you are not going to get everything perfect. It's just impossible. So if you are asking questions and someone tells you that, oh my goodness, it's a disaster, your stove is in the wrong place or your bathroom's in the wrong place and everything's going to go wrong in your life, please stop listening to them. The reason I say that is that you can't do anything to change that. Unless you are going to knock your house down or do a major renovation and move everything around, there's nothing you can do about it. So what we need to do is work with what you've got. There are things we can put in place to negate any energies that are not perfect. So for example, in my kitchen, it's got black bench tops. Black represents water. If I needed fire in that area, then not ideal, but nothing I can do about it. So I just add more fire in. Luckily, that area is water. I need water in that particular area. So I'm okay. But I'm not panicking about it because there's nothing I can do. I've moved into this house. It's got a black kitchen. It's got white cabinets, but The kitchen counters are black. Nothing I can do. So why panic about it? Same with bedrooms. So there'll be a lot of talk about placing beds in the best position in your best trigram position or gua number position. When you're in a bedroom, there's probably 1 or 2 areas that you can place your bed. So place them there. There's nothing else you can do. If we were to construct and design a home, we could then take everybody's numbers into consideration and make sure that the bedrooms are designed and placed with your gua or trigram as front of mind. But if you're not building a house and you're just moving into somewhere, then your concern is putting it in the best possible position feng shui wise, which is with a solid wall behind it and a headboard. Being able to get around the bed and have matching bedside tables. That is the concern you have. So as again, in this house, I've just moved into it. The master bedroom has an air conditioner in it. Fantastic. But where the bed should go, the air conditioner is right above it. That is not ideal because that is creating a downward pressure and can just cause disturbed sleep, which since I moved in, I've been experiencing. So yesterday I made the decision to turn my bed around into a different area, which ends up being in the center of my home, and have my headboard against a solid wall without anything above my head. I had the best night's sleep last night. Is it in my best position? No, but it's in the best position for the room and it's encouraged me to have a good night's sleep. So that's all I'm concerned about. We have to be practical with these things. Nothing is a disaster and the world is not going to end. Okay, so putting all of it together. If you're wanting to follow flying stars, you will need a construction date at absolute minimum. You will need compass readings and a floor plan. If you want to follow Black Hat or Modern, you will need a floor plan. Now, I'm going into quite a bit of depth in a minute. So please, if you have any questions, do ask them. I'm here to answer them. But I'm trying to do this in a way that does make sense to give you an understanding of why we either can't answer generic questions. We have to get more information. And it might make it an easier decision for you to decide what style you want to actually follow. So when it comes to construction date, there's other things that we need to take in consideration as well. If you've done major renovations, we need to know about that. If you've had a new roof put on, we need to know about that. If you're living in an apartment and you've had an updated kitchen or a bathroom, we need to know about that. Even changing the flooring can change the construction date. So these are things that we need as a consultant to know, because based on what you tell us, I can double check and I will be able to tell you what's going on. All right, so this is how a floor plan will be drawn up, whether following flying stars or following Black Hat or Modern Feng Shui. As you see on the left, this home, its entry is in the southwest. Whereas if you're following Manor, the north would be the front door. See where the north is over here? So the north's actually missing. So we would put mirrors in place in these corners to reactivate this square. Same here. So that's the difference. We're also focusing on the facing and the sitting, which I'll go through in a minute in a bit more depth. The facing is basically the side of the home that the energy enters, and the sitting is obviously the opposite side. How it was explained to me by Master Howard Choi was that the sitting is where you would put your bum to look at the view, basically. But it's not always, the facing is not always the front. It can sometimes be the back. So again, this is why having a consultant will help you make these decisions. Okay, there are 4 house types, and this is the first thing that we work out, and that's based on the sitting and the facing, year of construction, and where it's placed on the land. So you've got good for money and good for people homes, bad for money, bad for people, good for money, bad for people, and bad for money and good for people. So this information is just the beginning of the home's feng shui journey, However, it provides us with amazing information as to why things are going the way they are. However, in cycle 9, which has just started, for the next 20 years, those that are constructed will only be either good for money and bad for people, or bad for money, good for people. So if you are going to construct a home, my recommendation for you would make sure that it was good for money, bad for people, or bad for people, good for money. My recommendation would be try and find a home that is good for money, because it's very easy to rectify the bad for people. And trust me, I have lived in homes that are bad for money, and you really do feel the difference. So this place I live in now is good for money, bad for people. I put in a mountain out the front, which has turned any potential problems for people, which could be things like health problems, relationship problems, work problems, issues with friends, any number of things that could just go wrong. When it's bad for money, oh my goodness, anything can go wrong. So you'll probably find that a lot of plumbing things will start happening. You'll have issues with water. You'll just start receiving bills that you don't know where they're coming from. There's any number of things that will just, you might be earning really good money, but never have any money, and you don't understand why. So that's why I would recommend always, because money, you can fix anything with money. But if you don't have money, it makes life very, very difficult. So I would always recommend try and find a home that was good for money at absolute minimum, bad for people, because that's easy to remedy. All right, so let's look at the internal energies of a home. So just for argument's sake, that floor plan that I was showing you, it was built in cycle 8. This is the flying stars, the permanent stars that it would be, would start with. So 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And here's the floor plan. So here we got with all the numbers in where they should be. So as you can see here, the southwest is 5. So the permanent number in the southwest is 5. Plus, this is the facing number. This is the sitting number. So this means the plus also means that it is bad for money. Sorry, good for money. The negative is bad for, sorry, I've got that wrong, around the wrong way. This is good for people, bad for money. Okay. So we would then need to add water to generate more money. This number here is the annual number for this year. So the 3. So when it comes to working out the flying stars, we take these into consideration as well as the annual number. So when people are asking, how do I remedy the 7 this year? Well, the 7 would actually be in the south, but we need to take into consideration the permanent numbers, so we have a 3-number combination. And it's these 3 numbers, which is what tells us a story. It tells us what's going to potentially happen for the inhabitants that year. So this is why it can get quite complicated and why we need more information. This house in particular, even though it's bad for money, it's actually got some really good internal numbers. And it's not a house that I would probably worry about living in because of those positive things. So I've just made those numbers up, by the way. So I think I did have it as good for money, but there will be no money or people locks this year. So if this number here, the 3, was sitting here, it would go into a 12-month lock. It would either be in a people lock or a money lock. To get rid of that, we would put water in. If we've had the 9, which is the new cycle, was in this here, it would go into a 20-year lock. Again, we add water. So this house is pretty good. There's no lock. It will go into a lock next year. But for this year, it's actually okay. So in this house, there might be some illness or a predisposition for serious accidents, and that's based on the 5-2 combination. East would be supportive for men looking for love with peach blossom present. The southeast is the same, however, with potential for robbery energy. Now, that's not meaning you're going to get broken into, but you could have fraudulent transactions made on your bank account. But there's also some great wealth numbers in the northeast, specifically, which would be an awesome location for a home office. And the combinations in the north and northwest being supportive of career and wealth also. All in all, it's a promising home, and when it was remedied, it would be very supportive of those living here. So when I say remedied, without the remedies, the good things won't happen, but the bad things could happen. So when we put the remedy in, it neutralizes the bad and it enhances the good. So this is where we place 5 elements to balance those energies. So depending on the house type, you may be required to add a mountain or water remedies, or sometimes both. So mountain supports people and water flow brings in money. So when you look at places like the Bellagio Casino, and they've got that major fountain out the front, that has not been put there by accident. That has been put there deliberately. How many people go to the Bellagio because of the fountain to watch it? And then how many people go into the casino to spend money? You'll find that most big hotels will have a water feature out the front, and it's not there just to look pretty. It's there to generate money. When it comes to mountain, we put something in that is earthen material that is at least 3 foot tall. I like 4 foot tall where possible, but 3 foot can suffice. So it could be a stack of pots, it could be a statue, it could be a stack of bricks. As long as it's made from earthen material, that's what we use. And this are what we can use for internal remedies. So when it comes to adding fire, anything red or fire colors. So I like to use like the bright yellow I'm wearing, I would consider to be a fire color. You can see from behind me that this area needs fire, but it's not done in a way that's over the top. I know it's fire, but I've done it in a way that looks good. When you enter the area, you must be able to notice it. Not that it's taking over. We would never paint a wall red. I would never add in like a red carpet because the energies can change year on year. So adding in decor is how we add fire. We have earth. So earth is literally earthen material. It could be rocks. It could be shells. It could be sand, a terracotta pot or a clay pot, or again, a brick. One of my clients has just gone and used a big brick in her house as her earth remedy, and she's using it as a toilet roll holder. It's actually quite genius how she's done it. The earth remedy must be at least 2.5 kilos to add that grounding energy in. Then we have metal. Metal is literally metal. So in front of me, this half of this room is actually a metal wire. So my front door is in front of me where I need metal. So I have 20 kilos of weight plates sitting underneath my bookshelf. Literal metal goes in, balances the energy. We can use things like disc brakes. I've got a few disc brakes lying around. Just spray them gold, put them in a basket. They look great. No one knows they're there. Then we have water. Water features, I just literally use a vase or a jar of water with a pump in it. You can use other little water features, but I find they don't hold enough water. And then we have wood. So wood is literally a living, breathing plant. So if you are someone that has a lot of timber furniture, no need to worry about it. It's dead. The timber is not alive. So we place in a living, breathing item, and there's your wood. So you'll see behind me, I have a bamboo plant. Now, the reason is wood for some reason, or plants for some reason, go absolutely nuts wherever we need fire. So I have all my plants in fire areas. We are seeing a lot more fire in cycle 9 than what we have in the past. So we can put plants in a lot more places. We are also seeing a lot more earth and less metal. So in cycle 8, we saw a lot of metal, whereas that's being reduced significantly now. Okay, so the use of totems. So Black Hat and other schools, they do tend to use good luck charms. I will only use them for certain situations like selling homes where I use a galloping horse. I have used those to absolute success, or adding in your peach blossom animal. So for me, a horse, I would put a rabbit in the east if I was looking for love. If you're after a peach blossom list, please let me know. I can send that to you. But I don't prescribe the use of certain good luck charms, bowls, or statues. So if you've come to me and you found me through one of the Feng Shui groups, you'll know that everyone's doing the wealth bowl at the front door with the 9 gold rocks, the turtle, and the jade plant. Now, I've also told my clients, hey, this would be a thing to try. Will it actually bring money in? I don't know. But the way I like to look at it is you walk past that as you're entering your home, it will make you smile because it's called a wealth bowl. Making you smile as you're bringing that energy into your home is only a positive thing to do. So for that reason, I have no problem with it. However, I don't use big statues, big totems in my home. You would not know, as I said before, that my home is feng shuied. However, I do use deities like Kuan Yin or Ganesh for particular reasons. So Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. I have him currently in my southeast, which is my wealth area. The reason I have him in my wealth area is I don't want any blockages to earning more money. So that's why he's there. Kuan Yin is for peace. It's for grace. That sort of thing. Where have I got her? I can't actually remember where I've put her this year. But you don't have to have these. These are nice to have. You can print out a picture if you want. You don't have to have the physical statues. Now, I don't tell clients that they can't use certain parts of their home or send people in a panic by talking about the 7 killings or the Tai Su being bad. It's not helpful. So the West this year is not ideal, but I'm not going to not use my front door because that's where the 5 energy is. I still have to use my front door. I do keep it quiet though. It's not an area that I'm going to be playing rock music. And that's all you can do. There's no panic about this. You know, nothing bad is going to happen to you. We just have to be conscious of it. And keep light low, keep the areas quiet. But I would never tell someone that they can't use the area. When it comes to, I'm talking about activating the different numbers also, when you're, let's go back, when you are looking at these areas, so when they're in the natural state, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3. So when the 4, so the 4 this year, when we look at this number here, the 4 normally sits in the southeast. That's its natural spot. But this year, where is it? 4 is in the northwest. So this is also a wealth area this year. The northwest is a wealth area. So you can activate both areas for wealth. So I could put in a shrine or a little wealth area, wealth bowl here in my northwest, which is where I'm sitting now, should I wish. So that's the benefit of flying stars. You can activate multiple areas for multiple things. Okay, so practicality. The whole concept is about bringing balance and joy into your life. Feng Shui to me is about removing things that do not serve you. So it's not adding so many things that it looks like a shrine. Fear has no place in Feng Shui. It is the vehicle to get you where you want to go, but you are the gas or petrol to get it there with your action. So Feng Shui will help, but it's not going to cure everything. It will make it very clear to you what action you need to take. And if you don't take the action, it will keep reminding you. Now, for me, when I first started, the action I needed to take was sorting out my finances. I had not done my tax return for a couple of years, and I had calculated in my own little head, being the non-accountant that I am, that I had massive tax bill that I had to pay, but I had no money at the time. So I knew that if I figured that if I actually didn't do my tax, then I wouldn't have to pay tax. So it wouldn't be a problem. But the house kept pushing me. So when I first started applying feng shui, it started money coming in and then it stopped. And I couldn't work out why until I discovered that the fact that I had not done my tax return was my house telling me, hey, sort this out. And in the end, because the house was supporting me, when I did do my tax return, I actually got $8,000 back. So had I not taken the action, it would have kept reminding me, it would have kept smacking me up the side of the head to deal with it. I would have kept blaming everything else that was going on, except myself not taking that action. So when people do ask, what's the best thing to put in for this? Well, what's like if for a relationship, how do I meet a partner? What's the best thing to put in to meet a partner? Well, it depends. Is your home ready to meet a partner? Is your bedroom ready, showing the universe that you're ready to meet a partner? Have you got room for a partner? Is everything set up to welcome in that energy? So just placing something is not going to fix it. We still have to take action. And that's what you get when my clients work with me. That's the questions they're asking. What else can I do? What else can I activate? What do I need to do in this area of my life? And that's where the advice comes from. Okay. So feng shui is not the cure to all your problems, but it will make it easier to deal with them. So how to get it right for you. So work with a consultant. Hello, that would be me. So removing the guesswork and getting it right the first time will take out so much frustration and time wasting. Now, what is an energetic home assessment and personal report? Well, that's what I do. So this is what my clients get. They get their floor plan. They get a full advice on what it is they need to place. And they get an indication also of what energies are in certain areas, which is beneficial because then they understand why we're placing things where. It's quite intense in depth of what they get. So, for example, the northeast for this place, I tell them what it represents. I tell them what Chinese horoscope animal is reflective of that area. I tell them what body parts could be affected by that area. Now, when it comes down to that, if someone is suffering from migraines, I can tell them, or, whatever health ailment, I can tell them, hey, have a look at, so if it's like UTIs or kidney problems, I'll tell them, have a look at your north. Your north is reflective of your kidneys and anything to do with water. So have a check of your north. Is there any clutter in the area? Is there something you haven't rectified in the north of your home? It will tell you what family member it will affect. And then I also explain what the energy for the gua is, whether positive or negative. And then that gives them an indication of why we're remedying and why it's important that we remedy it. And then obviously the remedies required and what to add and what to avoid. You also get access to my community, online community, where you ask and I answer your questions specifically for you, because I know what's going on in your life and I know what's going on in your home. If you would like to book a discovery call, here's a QR code that you can scan and book that in. I am nearly finished. Have we got any questions that I haven't answered? Because I am super happy to answer anything for you. Please feel free to unmute. or type in the chat box if there's anything you need clarification on. I'm sure you have to have questions. Chantal, have you got any questions?
Hello.
Hi, Chantal.
Hi. I don't, oh, look, I'm guilty at not implementing all of my remedies just yet, but I would like to know, how long do you think is a reasonable time frame to start to like notice a change in the energy of a house once you've remedied it?
It can happen instantaneously.
Hmm.
I've had some clients that have, the one client in particular took her ages to do anything. And then she finally put everything, it was through COVID, she finally put everything in and they booked a couple of different holidays. And one of the holidays, one of the bookings that they had was non-refundable. And we went into snap lockdown. And so she was like really annoyed because there was no way she was going to be go and they weren't going to get their money back. Literally placed metal in, and 5 minutes later got a phone call saying, hey, we know we said no cancel, like no refunds, but we're happy to refund because we know it's not your fault. So it can really be quite instantaneous. I know, like even myself this morning, I put in here's something for you. If you're wanting to submit a success, especially moving into cycle 9, if your fame and reputation is something you really want to activate, put in an image of a phoenix in the south. So I've placed it in my south this morning, and I've written on the back of what I'm wanting my business to look like this year. I kid you not, within 5 minutes, I had a message from someone asking me to go and speak at an event. So, yeah, it can be instantaneous.
Okay, I'm gonna go do that for my business. And I might need to chat to you a little bit more about what I can tweak in our home.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I'm
Cool.
here for.
Yes.
That's what I'm here for. Have we got any other questions? Christine, Maurice, Michelle? I'd love to answer any of them. I guess when it comes down to it, I do this because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I do this because it does change lives, and I do it in a way that is practical and makes sense. So, if you are someone that is wanting to get involved with feng shui and actually look after their home and have their home look after them, then please do reach out. Even if you send me a DM, I'm more than happy to answer anything in a DM. But I'm here to change lives, and if you're wanting that for yourself, whether you use me or you use another consultant, please do it in a way that you're getting specific advice for your needs, because just adding random things because other people are adding them is not going to help you. It's quite simple. Um, I just want people to have the best possible life that they can have. And I'm proof of living it myself. So please reach out if you've got any questions. I'm here to answer them. Um, and yeah, I will, if you've got no further questions, I will leave it at that. And I will send this out so you've got something to refer back to in the next couple of hours. But thank you for
Suzanne,
joining me.
there are a few comments
Sorry.
in there's a few questions in the chat.
Oh, why did it not come up? Okay, let me have a look. Okay, okay, so Christine, how long does it take to implement with me? When you sign up with me, Christine, you will get an email straight away, and you'll get an email with a link for a questionnaire, which I need you to complete. This is not me doing a psychic reading. It's literally, I need to know what's going on for you. So when I run the numbers and when I do the reports, it's cross-checking and it's double checking what's going on. So I would have then into you a report pretty much depending on what's going on for me and depending on what time you send your questionnaire through, within a couple of days you will have your report. You will have access to my community group, and that's where you start asking questions. If it's a one-on-one thing you're wanting to access as well, I do have that option. But we work together basically instantaneously. We can make changes very, very quickly. Maurice, just want to ask the picture of my front door. Yep, go for it, Maurice. What question about your front door? You can unmute. Are you able to unmute?
Hi, yeah.
Hi,
I just
Maurice.
want to ask because my front I have four fire elements and I
Yep,
have zero water element
yep.
and my door is northeast facing. I just want to ask if I put a little fountain in there, will that help? Um
Well, it's
as
literally dependent on the permanent numbers that are needed. So you would have seen, did you see when I was going through what a flying star report looks like? I don't know if you're on the call then.
I don't think so.
Okay. So when it comes to, I'll just share it again. Um, just so you can see. Okay, so when we're looking at the flying stars, we look at these numbers. So the permanent numbers. So this house is facing southwest. So southwest is a
Mm-hmm.
5 here for the facing and a 2
Mm-hmm.
for the northeast, which is the sitting. Okay. So when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to working it out, 2, 5, and a 3, I know that this area is going to need metal. Same here with the southwest is going to need metal. But so it will depend on these permanent numbers. We don't just focus on the annual number. So it will literally depend on which direction your house is sitting and facing to the compass.
My house is facing the northeast.
Yeah, but I don't know to what area of the northeast. So the northeast is then divided
Oh.
into 3 separate areas as well. So it would depend
Oh.
on like literally the compass direction. 5 degrees can change a house being good for money, good for people, to being bad for money, bad for people. So it's very specific, and each house is very, very different. So as you can see, this
Mm.
northeast, it's got double eights in it, which is a great money number. So I would add fire or potentially water in this area, depending on other things that they're looking to bring in. But I don't know the year of construction for your home, so that will take a bearing as well. So it's not just as easy as knowing, well, it's northeast, we're going to
Oh.
put in water. But like that photo that you put in with the plants, that's what I'm saying. When you look at the elements,
Mm-hmm.
so the element cycles. So fire, water puts out fire, but then sorry, weakening here. So if you've got water in, water uses water. Plants use water to
Mm-hmm.
grow, so it weakens the water. So if you need
Mm-hmm.
water in that area, which I don't know if that's what you need, you might need fire. Who knows? But if you've got water in that area and you've got plants as well, well, you're basically crossing out the water because the plants are
Oh,
using the water.
yes. What can you suggest that I put in there? Like
I
if I
don't
lack
know.
water.
I
Oh.
wouldn't know without doing an energetic home assessment. I would not know. If you, yeah, I
Mm.
just, I don't know. Because when it
Okay,
comes to
thank you.
using flying stars, it's every home is very different. So Chantel
Mm-hmm.
is a client of mine. What she needs in her northeast will be very different to what you need.
Gotcha.
So
If
in my
mhm.
northeast, I have water, but I know I need water there.
Mm. I have a question. Does staircase facing the bathroom bad?
No, no, just keep the door shut for the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's not directly facing though. It's like slightly deviated.
I would always just keep the bathroom shut.
Bathroom door. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
doke.
keep the bathroom door shut. I mean, I've got an ensuite. So this is like when I was talking earlier. I've moved my bedroom around. I've only just moved into this house in the last month, and
Mm-hmm.
where it goes to placing beds, the place where the bed's supposed to go, the air conditioner was above my head. It was causing a disruption of sleep. But also where the bed was, I could see straight through my walk-in wardrobe and then into the ensuite. And of course, what is there? A big mirror. So I could see the mirror from my bed, which I don't want either. So I've now turned my bed around on another wall. And oh my goodness, I slept so well last night. And I can keep the door shut and all of that as well. It's the same with the normal bathroom. I keep the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom door shut. I keep the toilet door shut. Um, because they're areas we don't want open. We don't want the energy that it's not a positive energy. It's a lot of waste energy in there, which is not great. So we want to keep the door shut where we can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Any other questions? Did you have any questions, Michelle? No? Any questions, Christine? Okay, well, thank you, ladies, for joining me. I will be sending out the recording shortly, which you'll get a copy of. And I hope it's answered any questions you have. If you do have any further questions, please do reach out. I'm happy to answer them. That's what I'm here for. And enjoy your day. No worries, Chantel. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining me. I appreciate it.